Hi, everybody, and welcome to the 5th episode of the Resident Rulebreakers. My name is Kayla.
And I'm Camille.
And today's podcast, we're going to be talking about If Not Now, When, which is episode 220 of The Resident. And there's a lot of stuff to talk about. Last week we talked to Kamal, who played Wade Davies in this episode. We'll get to talking about that plotline in a little bit, but first off, we're going to start with Conic.
Yes.
Because they had their argument in 212, which was Fear Finds a Way, the same episode where they had the virus outbreak and all that. And we've gone through it just being pushed to the side and whatever, and I'm like, what happened to this argument? What happened to this situation? And then finally they talk about it. Yeah. And I've seen both sides of this story online. People not liking Nick for what happened. People taking Conrad's side.
Yeah, there's a lot more pro-Conrad than there is Nick. I mean, here's the thing. I get both sides. Like, I'm not... Conrad, I get where Conrad is going, saying that, hey, look, I've worked on myself. This is what you wanted from me. I'm better. You wanted me to be open up with whatever. Here I am. And then I get Nick's side where she's like, you can't pressure me to want what you want. You know what I mean? Yes, I'm glad that you worked on yourself, but that doesn't mean I have to be ready. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Because I don't really get all the hate that is just going on for Nick, and I've loved Nick since the beginning, and we've all known that Conrad and Nick have had issues in their relationship from the beginning, and they've always keep coming back up the same problem. And
everyone keeps talking about Alex. Like the I think a lot of people have like short-term memory loss or like long-term memory loss because a lot of people are saying Nick is rejecting Conrad because she's hung up on Alex. I'm sorry to say, but Alex just came on the show like in January of this year, and Conic problems happened before Alex showed up.
Yeah, I mean, these problems were the reason they broke up the first time. It's like they don't remember episode 203, which was 3 words. That whole episode is like apparently like wiped out of people's memory or something. I don't know. But for me, that episode, like, not only did that episode mention Nick's miscarriage, but it showed their first breakup. And I watched it the other day, just so I knew what it was talking about. And I don't know how if you're a Conic shipper, how you forget that episode.
Personally, I forgot episode 3 until you started mentioning it. But I didn't forget about the miscarriage. But Nick is going through a lot.
Yes, she is. I mean, she has a lot of stuff on her.
Yeah, I mean, she has to deal with family issues and stuff, with Jessie, her dad coming back to their lives, all of these things. And it's like, she was there for Conrad.
Yeah, I mean, she was there for Conrad.
But he was dealing with his dad. Be there for Nick, when she's dealing with her family stuff, and don't pressure her into like anything more. Understand the fact that this is enough. Like there's a lot on her shoulders already without you saying, hey, this feels stagnant. I am one of those people that like to keep moving, be on the move or whatever. It's like she needs to slow that. She has a lot on her shoulders already. Just don't add more.
Yeah, I mean, her sister needs a kidney, and
Yeah.
we're gonna get to that conversation in a little bit. But she's got a lot on her plate, and Nick was there for Conrad while he was trying to repair the relationship with his dad, and she was actually the one pushing it. You know, she was like, "Talk to him, Conrad. Don't fuss at him. You know, whatever." Especially when his dad had all the surgery and everything.
Yep.
And so it goes both ways. A relationship is 100, it's 100% from both sides. And if it would not be fair to Nick if Conrad didn't return what she gave him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do have to give it to Conrad. He has been, trying to be helpful, especially with the Jessie situation. And he wasn't that open with her dad, though. But, I mean, I don't know.
I think he sees how standoffish Nick is with her dad. I mean, she calls him Kyle, for crying out loud. I don't know. And then a lot of people are bringing up the emotional blackmail line Nick had in the first scene of the episode.
Yeah.
And, I mean, she really is going through a lot, but what do you really think Nick meant by that?
I think she felt that Conrad was saying, hey, let's move forward or we're breaking up. That's what she meant by emotional blackmail, is that she had, here's the choice. The choice is here. Like, either this or we're done. You know what I mean?
And I don't really think that's what he meant, but
that's how she interpreted it.
Yeah. But, they did have a walk away from the relationship in this episode. I don't think it's permanent by any means, especially if what Amy was saying to us is true. Like, just be patient. They're going to work through it.
Yeah.
I don't know how well they're going to work through it in 3 episodes, but we're seeing we're going to talk about all the stuff coming up later, but we're seeing him helping her with Jessie a lot. So I think there's some other stuff playing into that. So we're just going to have to be patient is really what the showrunners are asking us for.
Yeah. I trust Amy, but also at the same time, I know that, showrunners, they have to be protective of, show people, cast members, crew, everyone is very protective over the content of, the season finale and stuff. And so, she could also be misleading.
Yes, because, I mean, I've been burned by a ship and a show before, so it's not the first time I've seen it, but Amy's never really started us wrong before, so I do trust her.
I hope that she, things work out between Conrad and Nick in some form. I don't know what my version of their happy ending is. A lot of people want them to move in together or get married, season 3, which I think is way too soon if they want to get married.
I agree. The show needs staying power, and while we need a couple that's continuously together, they're gonna still have conflict. Or there's no reason for the show.
Yeah.
It's a drama, and they can't just be happy, happy, happy all the time. Even if they're married, they're gonna have to have some type of conflict in their relationship. Yeah. It's just, that's the way it is. Whether it's family members or other things going on, there's always
financials.
Something. Yes. So, but yeah, I do think there needs to be a steady relationship in the show. There's always usually one of those. And I'm hoping it'll be Conrad and Nick, but I think the marriage is too soon right now because they have to have staying power. If they want the show to go for years upon years past this 3rd season that we're going to get, then they need staying power on the relationship and on the show. So that's just my opinion.
Can I ask you something? Do you think there's a Conic baby in the future? I know they already had a miscarriage, but do you think they'll ever try again?
I would love to see that. I want to see them bring the miscarriage back up into a conversation.
Yeah, same here. I feel like that was just a bombshell that never had any.
Because those are, like, any type of scenario like that where you lose a baby or you miscarry, it's an emotional experience, not just for the woman, but if she has a partner like Nick has, then it's emotional for the man too. Losing a baby is a hard experience, and to just brush it off is not.
It would be great to kind of see them maybe possibly in the future talking about having kids, and then see also how it could still affects them, both Conrad and Nick. Like I said, they dropped that bombshell. The writers have done a lot of this with different storylines where they drop this big thing and then nothing afterwards. You know what I mean?
No development on
right.
I would love to see. We're gonna probably talk about this in another podcast, but I would love to see more consistency on those types of storylines. Like, if you're gonna drop a bombshell, follow up on it.
Yep.
That's kind of the thing. So I would love to see Conrad and Nick discuss the miscarriage and possibility of having. And she's mentioned that she doesn't want that, but I think she was really more worried about Jessie than anything, than having a baby at the moment. And she was still.
Do we know the timeline of that miscarriage? Like, how far in the past that was?
I don't really know. I don't know how long they were separated before they got reunited. And that's something I would love to see that timeline be clarified.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of things I would like to see for Conrad and Nick's relationship clarified. And maybe it'll shine light on what's happening now. So maybe I don't think we're gonna get it in 3 episodes, but maybe next season we'll get that.
So much to hope for next season.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that in another podcast. We have a whole one planned for y'all, so stay tuned eventually for that. Our next topic is Jessie.
Poor girl. She needs a kidney transplant, but because she just got out of rehab, she isn't qualified via UNOS. And same with Chastain, they have to wait like 6 months for her to get a kidney transplant or something. Poor girl.
For her to be, she has to stay sober for 6 months to get on the wait list, and even then, it'll take years if they don't find a match, whatever. They're trying to push it because she's on dialysis, and it looks like it's like 5 days a week. But to push the issue, Nick wants to get tested to see if she can donate to her sister, and I think that's Nick. I mean, I really think she really loves her sister, and she really wants to help her out. And
yeah, but I mean, spoiler alert, we saw on the Resident Rat video.
She's
not the one who's going to donate. She's not going to be able to donate.
Yeah, Nick, spoiler alert, she isn't a match for Jessie. So the next episode, Corbin Burnson reappears, and Nick and Conrad are trying to get him to donate to Jessie.
Yep.
Because he's a match.
Yep.
And then in the finale, spoiler alert, like we said, Emily and Juliana both have posted about this kidney transplant on their Instagrams.
Yeah, and it looks like in Emily's video that she posted that she's not the one donating because she's in scrubs and with the surgical mask and everything.
Mm-hmm. And so she was in the surgery along with Conrad. Conrad was in the surgery as well. So Matt was in that scene too.
Yep.
And so that was the last scene they filmed for the season finale of season 2. So yeah, spoiler alert, Jessie gets her kidney from her dad is what we're seeing from these BTS videos.
Yeah, behind the scenes videos.
Yep.
I kind of am mad that they showed that.
Yeah, I am too. I am too, because that's kind of like a big plotline deal.
Yeah, that's a big reveal that they just put out there.
So Emily and Juliana spoiled that part of the plotline for us.
But
we love you.
We love really, you. Really mean is if that video Emily posted wasn't of like Jessie's transplant. It was like a whole nother patient that came in and they're doing surgery on them. We're like, you tease!
You know, usually Nick and Conrad are not in surgery, so
yeah.
So we'll have to see, but that's what from BTS and press releases and everything, that's what we're going with here.
Predicting for season finale.
Yep. So our next topic is the shooting. We're wondering, because in Atlanta it's got a really bad crime rate. So I would love to see them go into more detail about how bad the crime rate is in Atlanta and how it focuses on the hospital side. But we'll get to that in another podcast.
I actually like what was it? AJ, Minna, Kit, and Belle talking about Japan, and they were all like, you want to move to Japan? And they're like, yeah, I actually do. And they were talking about like 10 shooting deaths a year in Tokyo or something.
Yeah.
Versus like we get that every day here in just one hospital.
In just one hospital. Atlanta it's got a really bad gun violence rate. And so I would love to see them go into more detail on that, but we're wondering if Nick was the target, because if she had kept driving, she would have gotten shot.
Nick was even wondering herself.
I mean, why would Nick be the target? I mean, unless it was just an innocent bystander scenario.
I was thinking that too. But I mean, when the theory came out that Nick might have been the target, my first thought jumped to Layton.
Hunter.
I know she's dead and everything, but I mean, the only person I can think of that would hate Nick enough to like shoot her was Layton Hunter.
Well, her people or whoever is still loyal
her
fans
to her or something.
Yeah, I don't know who would be a fan of that woman. Like I said, she was as popular as Hitler. So I don't really know, but I love the fact that they just jumped in and saved these people's lives, because the mother with the bullet in her heart, she shouldn't have survived. Yeah. And the little boy with the bullet in his spine, not only should he have not survived, he shouldn't be able to walk, and yet they were able to save both of them.
You're gonna make me cry. I just remember
we're going into that topic in a moment, but
the line that was it Minna who said it? We saved two people that should have died. You're gonna make me cry.
Yeah, we're getting into the big topic of the episode that made me bawl my eyeballs out.
Oh my God! Just you talking about how they should have survived, and then it's already getting me emotional. Because just as you say that, I'm reminded by what Minna said.
Yes, Minna's line where she's at the end where she says they shouldn't have survived, but we're going
two people that shouldn't have survived, but
the woman that could have been prevented, she dies. And into our next topic. Last week we talked to Kamal, who played Wade Davies, the father and husband in this episode, and we all know that it's based on a real story.
Yes, we talked about the real story in the past 2 weeks. So this time we're going to talk about what happened in the episode.
What's going to happen in the episode?
It is such a great thing that we got to talk to Kamal, and we got to talk to him before the episode even aired, because I think that if I had seen the episode before talking to Kamal, I wouldn't have been able to talk to him, because I would have been like, oh my God, that was the best thing ever. I can't believe you did that. I would not have been able to talk to him with my head on straight. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, because
so emotional and
I'm
crying.
seeing, when I looked through social media the next day, last Tuesday, and people were praising Kamal's performance. They're praising Manish, obviously, Kamal, Malcolm, and Shawnette.
Yep.
But Kamal, he was so humble about it, when he saw all these, people saying, you should get an Emmy and all that. But I truly believe that he should get some type of recognition for this.
Yeah.
That wasn't a phenomenal performance from him and Vanessa. They did the storyline absolute justice.
Yeah, I mean, but for me, the one that I started crying on was when you didn't hear the words or anything like that, but when Manish and Malcolm held up Kamal as he was crying, it was like the camera panned away. You could see Shawnette crying too. It was just like so beautiful. I mean, the three main cast members who are people of color, in that one scene. Oh.
Not only were they in that one scene, they were the last three in the room with Vanessa with Leah when she passed. I thought that was that episode brought to light a topic. I haven't seen a show on TV in recent years do it this blatantly, where they talked about the racial divide and healthcare. Not just, obviously they talked about it in maternal health care, where black women die at 4 times the rate of a white woman.
In a hospital.
In a hospital, yeah.
Yeah. But I found out this week as I was, posting stuff for Kira or whatever, that this week was actually Black Maternal Health Week. And, last week we were talking about how the timing fit because Kira's death anniversary was that weekend. But it also fit because it was Black Maternal Health Week. And it opened up a lot of discussions with so many women when it came to their own struggles as mothers and giving birth. I mean, on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, it opened up a lot of discussions from women all over the world, and they were praising the resident for bringing light to a topic that no other show really talked about, And
I know, and like the Resident's not the only show this week that touched on maternal health.
Yep.
Because 911 came on right behind the Resident, and people were like, "What's going on with these plot lines?" And that was why. This is the first time I've seen it where they talked about race being an issue in healthcare. And then when we were discussing it on the Facebook page, Serena Williams almost died after giving birth.
Yep.
And I did not know that.
No, I did not know that.
And then there's another, you posted the link.
Yeah, she's a reality star. MJ, Mercedes from Shadows of Sunset. She just had a baby boy, and she was supposed to go through, she went to the hospital, same hospital as Kira, Cedars-Sinai Hospital. She was supposed to just get a regular C-section or whatever, and she had complications, and just a regular C-section turned into a 5-hour surgery, and it's in the ICU. Sadly, this happens more frequently than people know.
And to women of color.
Beyonce also had her birth story come out, too, this week.
Yeah, she did. So I love that people are sharing these to bring awareness to the problem. I'm hoping that these stories will help fix it.
Yeah.
It takes time to pass legislation to fix these horrors, but this death in the show and Kira's death were completely preventable.
Yeah. If only, like, the doctors listened. Oh my God.
That doctor, I wanted to punch his lights out.
I'm so pissed off. Here's the thing. To all doctors and nurses out there, listen to your patients. If the patient is telling you, I'm in pain, don't act like you're deaf and don't listen to them. You listen to them. If there's blood in the urine, that's not normal. That is not normal. There's no scenario where blood in the urine is normal. When the urine in the bag is like orange looking because there's blood in the urine, that's not normal. There's no scenario in the world that is normal. Pee is supposed to be yellow, but it's any other color, there's something wrong. That's all there is to it. It just pissed me off watching that. I was so angry, and
that nurse. I mean, if I were Devin, I would have punched her. I would have been like, lady, this woman has got more issues and you're not paying attention, and she wasn't a priority. There's the line I was looking for. She was not a priority.
When AJ asked, why hasn't this woman gone to we're just seeing this woman now, and Devin says she wasn't a priority. That broke my heart. Because there's honesty in that line.
That line was spoken by Charles in one of his testimonies, right?
Yeah.
And then you get
they used
Belle.
It also on the show.
Yes. Belle listens to Devin. I really am loving him in the later part of this season. And he creates this board to review all the maternal death cases for the hospital.
Yeah.
And that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah. I'm still angry. I'm pissed off. The episode you go from tears of sadness to just anger, and I hope and pray to God that a lot of people use those feelings, use that anger, and not just like sit on it, but use it as a platform to, talk about this, to have change. You know what I mean? I think that's why The Resident wanted to show this episode, is because they wanted people to see that, to use this as a platform for change, to bring to light this problem. I mean, call me crazy, but I didn't know about Kira. I had no idea about Kira at all until everyone on Instagram was talking about it, and it popped. I had no idea. I mean, I read it. What was it? Someone had commented on one of the pictures I posted. Yeah, I think Matt, Manish, and Charles Johnson and another woman. And someone tagged for Kira for Mom. So I was like, okay, what's this about? Why is this hashtag on this picture? And I looked, and that's when I found out about the story of Kira, and I was like, okay, what's going on? Then it piqued my curiosity, what happened? And mind you, this was 4 weeks ago. This was when they were taping the episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, and that's when I knew that this was going to be a big deal. And then when the synopsis for 220 came out, I put two and two together, that this was the story that they're telling. It was Kira's story. I had seen Vanessa post videos before of her and Kamal when they were filming the episode together. But again, it was, I didn't know it was the story of Kira that they were filming. They just thought, oh, cool, she's guest starring or whatever. But wow, I mean, now I feel like I want to fight.
Me too. I mean,
a lot of people on the Resident fan page were all talking about how it can happen to anybody, no matter the color of the skin. It's true. It can happen to white people. It can happen to black people. It can happen to Chinese people. It can happen to everybody. It happens to everybody, no matter their nationality. No one is disputing that. Nobody is saying that it's only a black person problem. It's not a black person problem. It's a woman's problem. But the numbers are hard to deny. The numbers are out there, and it's not political. It's true. I'm a math person. I go by math. And the numbers are that people of color, women of color, are more likely to die than a white woman. And that is the only, as much as people, you may not like the fact that the resident brought up race, it's the truth.
It really is. And I want to see them bring it up more, the racial injustices, not for anything. I want to see them bring it up and point it out. So maybe we can start talking about it and fixing the problem.
Yeah. I told Amy on direct messages. I told her, I said, you guys are so brave, because nowadays shows are scared of quote unquote playing the race card, because you just go on the Resident fan page and you can see how people the Resident page period. You can see how people complain about playing the race card or whatever, or people threatening to stop watching the show because they quote unquote played the race card. But I mean, it's true. As much as denying it or hiding that fact does not affect change. It won't change anything if we keep hiding it, or if we keep not showing it, or if we're scared to, tell the truth. It doesn't do anything. If you want things to change, you have to show the truth, and sadly, the truth is ugly.
And you have to talk about it.
Yeah.
And that's with anything.
Yeah.
So the truth can be very harsh and very ugly, and I'm glad the resident isn't scared to go there.
No.
But yeah, I was bawling by the end of the episode. The end of the episode is dedicated to Kira.
Yeah.
And they have real life footage of Charles talking about Kira. And the one thing he said...
Favorite line of the night isn't from the script. It was from Charles saying, there's no statistic that can quantify what it's like to tell your 18-month-old his mother's not coming home. When he said that, it hit me that Kira and Charles aren't the only victims. It's their older son, too. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yep.
And same with Leah and Wade, Davies, the characters on the show. They had an older daughter who she was on the cell phone with. You know what I mean? And who she was FaceTiming with. And I can't imagine having to explain to your child that his mom's not coming home anymore. Like, I don't know how that conversation could have went. I hope that showing this episode and, showing the truth, sharing the truth in this way it brings about change. It brings about truth or whatever.
So our next topic is what's coming up, and we've discussed it some, but we're going to go in a little bit further detail here. Is the next episode due to air Monday night on the 22nd. It's episode 221, Stuck as Foretold.
Yep.
And it's about a blood shortage, and there's promo photos in the promo itself have Conrad giving his own blood to his patient.
Yep.
And, like, when I saw the promo, the first thing that I really said was, why is, Conrad is giving his own blood. Is that really happening? And then the photos were, like, of the same scene. And so...
Yeah, it looks like he has that bandage tape thing that they give for people who, donate blood or whatever. They give that blue bandage thing. And so it looks like he is giving blood.
Yeah, and then also in that episode, Nick finds out she isn't a match for Jessie, and so there's that as well. And then Kit's ex-husband is back as well.
Yep.
So we're gonna see more Brett and Kit, and I think Bill has an encounter with his assistant's mom.
Right. That guy is, but he's so funny. Oh my goodness.
So look forward to all that in Monday's episode. The next episode that airs on April the 29th, and it's 222, the penultimate episode, which is the second last episode of season 2.
Yeah.
It's called Broker and Broker, and Chastain's going broke.
Yep.
Belle's trying to find ways to stop this from happening. They have a lottery winner. I mentioned last week that John Noble was in this episode. He's from Fringe and Lord of the Rings and various many other shows he's done. He was in Sleepy Hollow. So I'm looking forward to seeing him on that episode. They have a lot of amazing guest stars on the show. I'm really impressed. But there's that episode. That episode also has Alec talking to Nick, and Nick gets mad, but there's also a promo photo of Alec and Conrad talking. So then in the finale, which we've already pretty much told you about when we talked about Jessie, it's the Unbefriended.
Yep.
And it airs on May 6th. And we got the behind the scenes stuff from Juliana, who plays Jessie, and from Emily, with them showing that scene where Jessie's in surgery and she's getting her kidney from her dad. We're assuming it's her dad because it looked like a dummy of the actor Corbin Burnson, who plays their dad.
Yep.
So we're assuming it's her dad. We could be totally wrong, but from behind the scenes photos and stuff, that's what we're taking from this. He is in the episode. When we say finale, a lot of people are freaking out. We want to remind you that season 3 is on the horizon, and they will go back to filming probably sometime within the next 3 months.
Yeah.
That's what I've been seeing from people who are working on set, who say that they'll go back within the next few months to go back to taping.
Yep.
So if they're going back in the next 3 months, that means the show will premiere sometime in the fall. Usually.
Yeah. I think they get about a 3-month break.
They run a 9.5-month taping time. They tape 23 episodes, and then they have a 3-month break, and then they go back. So that's really all we have to, talk about. There was a lot of photos that dropped. A lot of the press releases that dropped. You can check them out on the Facebook page. They're all there.
Yes, every single one of them.
Every single one. Because I posted tons of photos, and people were like, are they planning on spoiling the whole episode with all these photos? So that's really all we have for this podcast. Stay tuned with us. We are going to continue this podcast through the summer. Next week, we're going to be discussing 221, Stuck is Foretold. And just want to remind you that you can listen on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and YouTube.
Yep.
You can follow us on Twitter at Resident Podcast. There's the Facebook group, Resident Fox Fans. And Instagram, which is also Resident Fox Fans.
Yep.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you next week.